Okay, the time is now 3 minutes past 11. So I think we'll start. Hopefully a few more people will join us today. So this presentation is about developing a digital marketing strategy for your business. And this is being run in partnership with the London Borough of Bexley as part of the Talking Business Support Program. And usually Gary Parker of C&T will be hosting this presentation, but he couldn't make it today. So my name is Sybil, by the way, and I will be hosting and presenting this workshop today. So Zabata is asking a question, can we get a certificate of participation at the end of the webinar? So we don't issue any certificates for participating in our webinars. However, you will get a copy of the presentation slides. So thank you for your question. Okay, so I think we'll begin. So once again, this is developing a digital marketing strategy for your business. So as mentioned, usually Gary will be hosting these workshops. He couldn't make it today. Gary is the managing director of C&T Associates. He has over 20 years of experience in business support and fundraising. And if you'd like to visit our website, it is cntassociates.com. So please do have a look at our website. We've recently redesigned it with some new information and resources. So please have a look at the new design. And an introduction to myself. So I'm Sybil, the Digital Services Consultant at C&T Associates. So I do two main things. So one is web design, and that is my main background. I help small businesses improve their online presence through a better website. And also I provide a range of related digital services to small businesses, helping them to utilize digital tools more effectively. So what that means is things like setting up a CRM system, automation, analytics, email marketing. Rather than doing manual processes, we want to digitize and automate as many processes as possible to save time and money in our businesses. So that's another thing that I provide. And for the past 5 years or so, I have worked with businesses from a wide variety of industry sectors, including creative, e-commerce, consultancies, tech businesses, well-being organizations, and so on. So that is me. So the workshop outline today is, first of all, do your research. We'll be talking about your target audience, websites and SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. We'll talk about blogging, social media, email marketing, setting up your Google business profile and listing your business on local directories, video marketing, a little about PPC advertising, which is pay per click, and developing a digital marketing strategy. We can provide a template for that. Also offline marketing methods, and a chance for you to ask questions during the Q&A session at the end. So let's go into the main parts of the presentation. So first of all, I've got here, do your research and know your audience. So it's very important to know exactly who your clients or target customers are. And here's a list of things that I want you to think about when you're analyzing this. So if you haven't done this already, you need to really define who exactly your business is targeted at. And here's a few things you need to think about. So what are their age group, their gender, their geographical location, education, occupation, their family, their income, what are their interests, so what do they do in their spare time as well as what they do for business or for work. What are their spending habits? So do they tend to purchase, say, high-end products, or do they prefer to go for the cheaper or bargain products? And probably most importantly, what are their pain points and the challenges they face? Because ultimately, your business is solving a problem for your customers. So you need to be really clear what that problem is that they face and how your business is solving that problem for them. So just take a moment to think about that, because all of these things are going to influence the kind of marketing you do and the messaging that you're sending out. So if you haven't got this fundamental step correct, then your marketing and your messaging isn't going to be right, and you won't be attracting the right sort of customers to your business. Okay, so as I mentioned, my background is in website design. So website is my favorite topic, so we're going to begin with that. Now, some of you may already have an online presence on social media, and that's fine. That's a good start. But I do think that a social media profile isn't really enough nowadays. You do need to get a website if you don't have one already. And the reason being is that a social media profile is very limited. Yes, you can customize the content on there. You can change maybe your profile picture, cover image, but you can't do much more than that. However, with a website, you have complete control over the look and feel of it. So you can make it look exactly how you want it to look like. So it matches your company's brand. And also the functionality as well. You can do almost anything with the website. You can have an e-commerce store on it if you want to do that. You can have newsletter sign-up forms and do much more than what you can do with the social media page. So if you are planning to create a website, then first of all, you want to think about things like how much time you have available, what is your budget, whether you have the skills to build it yourself or whether you would outsource it to a professional, and what are the requirements of the project. So in terms of requirements, I mean things like what pages and content do you need on your website? Do you need any specific features? For example, a blogging feature, which we'll talk about later on as well. Would you want a photo gallery on there? Do you need certain functionalities like a newsletter sign-up form? Do you need e-commerce if you're selling products or services through your website? Contact form is something that almost everyone would need. Maybe you want the chat bot as well on there, and so on. Now, it is possible to build a website for free, and we'll look at some popular website builders in a second. Using a website builder is the quickest way to get started. So it's very rare nowadays for anyone to be building a website from scratch and coding it from scratch. So we will look at a few website builders that you can choose from. So we'll start by looking at Wix, which is a very popular platform. With Wix, it's possible to start for free. You don't need to worry about any hosting because Wix provides the hosting for you. If you need additional functionality, then there is the Wix app market if you need to install additional apps. The platform doesn't require any maintenance. So by that, I mean you don't need to install updates. All of that is done for you. So you can just focus on your business. Wix can be used to build an e-commerce store. It does have that functionality. Now, with a free plan, you can do certain things, but if you need more advanced features like removing the ads, connecting a custom domain, taking payments online, then you do need to upgrade to a paid plan. But if you want something that's easy to get started, you want to quickly get a website online, and you don't mind a few adverts on your website, then going for the free plan might be for you. So let's move on to wordpress.org. So the reason why I put the .org here is because there is another version called wordpress.com, but that's a very different platform, and that's not the one we are referring to today. So WordPress.org is a very powerful and customizable platform. It's one of the most popular website builders out there. So something like about 1/3 of all websites on the internet are using WordPress. So very popular. With WordPress, you have access to a vast variety of themes and plugins to enhance the functionality of your website, and many of these are free. You can use WooCommerce. This is a free WordPress plugin that connects your WordPress site and converts it into an e-commerce store. The WordPress software itself is free, but you do need to set up your hosting and register a custom domain before you can start using it. And also, the platform does need regular maintenance. So unlike Wix, where all of this is done for you, with WordPress, it is your responsibility to keep your themes, your plugins, and your WordPress core files updated. And you do need to make regular backups of your website. Backups are very important because if for any reason your website goes down, maybe because of a plugin update causing a conflict, or there was some sort of error on your website and you lost your site and you couldn't access it, at least if you have a backup, then you're able to restore an earlier version of your site before the issue happened, and you won't lose all of the hard work that you've done. So yeah, very important to do the maintenance and keep the backups in place. But despite all of those things, WordPress personally is one of my platforms of choice, and I recommend it to most of my clients simply because of the flexibility and the amount of customization options that it offers. And thirdly, we'll look into Shopify. So we did talk about WordPress being able to have the e-commerce functionality, but if your business is say purely e-commerce, you've got a large number of products maybe that you're thinking of selling, then Shopify is probably the better option for you. I find it easier to set up and quicker to get started. Out of the box, it gives you everything you need and to start selling without installing additional apps. So Shopify is a very popular e-commerce platform which powers millions of merchants worldwide. There's no limit on the number of products that you can sell on your Shopify store. The themes, so themes are like templates. These are highly customizable and you don't need to know any coding in order to customize them. If you do need additional features, then you can go to the Shopify App Store and install any extra apps that you might need. In terms of costs, the basic Shopify plan is usually £25 per month, but right now there is a special offer where you can get it for just £1 per month for the first 3 months. So I highly recommend making use of that offer. Or what we can do, and because we are Shopify partners, if you contact us, we can set up an unlimited trial store for you. So what we can do is set up the basic store, and this is a store which doesn't have any time limits on it. You can use it for as long as you like without paying any Shopify subscription, and you only start paying for the fee once you are ready to go live. So we do charge a small fee for this, but it's a small one-off fee. And then say after that, you'd have unlimited time to develop your store until you're ready to launch it. Then good thing about Shopify is you have 24/7 access to the Shopify support team via the chat, email, and the community forums. So help is always available if you need it. Okay, so we talked about website builders, and now we're going to look at ways of driving traffic to your website. And one method of doing that is SEO, which is search engine optimization. Now, SEO is a very big field. It's something that takes time and effort to build up, and it is going to be difficult to generate traffic to your website simply through SEO alone. But this is something that you can do alongside the other methods that we're going to talk about later on. So what is SEO? It's a process of optimizing your website, which is making little improvements over time in order to help the website rank higher in search results. So when people are searching on Google, for example, for a particular product or service, you want to give your website the highest chance of appearing in the search results, ideally on page 1 and as high up in the search results as possible. This can be difficult if you're in a competitive industry. So that's why we recommend doing SEO alongside the other methods. But here are a few tips that you can do to improve your SEO. I'll also mention that SEO is organic, so this is nothing to do with paid advertising. SEO is free, it doesn't cost anything to do unless you pay someone else to do the work for you. So ways to improve your SEO is by optimizing page titles, meta descriptions, and image alt tags. So alt tags are little pieces of descriptive text that you add to images. And in all of these places, you want to include relevant keywords. So keywords are either single words or phrases that people might type in order to look for the service or product that you're offering. And these keywords need to be relevant. So if your web page is about a specific product, you want to include keywords that are relevant to that product and not just random words that you're putting in there, which you're using hoping to gain traffic through that. It has to be relevant and describe what's on the page. You want to fix any broken links. So if any links are not working, then either fix them or remove them. Make sure your website structure is logical, so people visiting your site can easily find what they're looking for. It needs to load fast. You must make sure the user experience is good, and website needs to be responsive. So by responsive, I mean it should work well on all devices, smartphones, tablets, desktops, and laptops. So try and check your website on as many different screen sizes as possible. You can also ask a friend to check on their phone as well, and give you some feedback on how it works. Submit your website to Google Search Console. So this is a free tool provided by Google. It helps your website to be indexed faster, and it can give you lots of insights. So things like how many times your website appears in search, how many times people clicked your website when they saw it in the results. Also, it can give you some errors and some indications, warnings that things that might be affecting your search performance. Ensure that your website has an SSL certificate installed. So if you look at your website address and it begins with HTTP but not HTTPS, that means that you don't have the certificate installed, so you need to make sure that you add one. Because if it doesn't have that, it means your website is insecure, and so it can be penalized by search engines. Add new content to your website on a regular basis. Search engines like websites that get updated frequently. So we'll talk about how to do that through blogging. You can ask other website owners to link back to your website. This is called backlinking. So you can reach out to other businesses, organizations, and kindly asking them if they would like to put a link on their website to yours. And finally, do not use black hat SEO techniques. So these are unethical techniques that you should avoid. For example, keyword stuffing. So this is where you put as many keywords as possible onto your website, repeating the same keywords over and over, hoping that will help your website to rank, because it won't work anymore. Your website is only going to get penalized and maybe even removed from the search engine results. Okay, so that's an intro to SEO. So we'll move on to blogging. So we talked about how updating your website on a regular basis helps with SEO. As well as that, it also demonstrates that you are an expert in your field. So when visitors are coming onto your website, they want to see that you are the expert, you have the authority to be delivering the service that you're offering, or they want to see that you are offering the best quality products, and you are an expert and you know your industry very well. So blog is a good way to do that, and it helps you to stand out against your competitors as well. Having a blog also keeps your audience informed and engaged by giving them fresh new content on a regular basis. So whenever they come to your website, there's always something new for them to engage with. All of the website builders that we mentioned previously offer blogging tools. Like SEO, it is a long-term process, so don't expect to put a couple of blogs on there and start generating traffic immediately. It will take a long time for that to happen. Your content does need to be relevant, so make sure you choose a few related topics and then stick to those topics. and try not to post about things just for the sake of posting, but always making sure that it's relevant to the product or service that you are offering. And you want to try and publish posts on a regular basis. So every 2 weeks is reasonable. If that's still too much for you, and then once a month is also good. But the main thing here is for it to be consistent. So if you're going to do this once a month, and try and stick to that schedule, because it's not much good if you post, say, 4 times in 1 month and then you post nothing for the next 3 months and then you post again. Consistency is the best way to do it here. Okay, so talked a lot about websites. So now I'll move on to talking about social media. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with what social media is. It's a very effective and inexpensive way to market your business, and many businesses start with social media because it is free and very quick to get started with. You can engage directly with your followers. So, like blogging, you do need to produce relevant content and to publish on a regular basis. Um, Unlike blogging, where these are quite long articles, with social, it's more frequent but shorter pieces of content. But with both blogging and social media, it really is a long-term strategy, and it will take time for you to generate the traffic and to build up a following. Now, some popular social media platforms are listed here. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, X, which used to be Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Pinterest. And there are a few others as well. So what you want to do is not try to be on all the platforms, because that will become unmanageable. You just won't have the time to manage all of those. So I recommend choosing 2, maybe maximum of 3, and trying to do those really well. So by doing well, I mean knowing the sort of audience that uses these platforms, utilize the platforms that where your target audience is as well. So you need to think about who's using these platforms. And if you go back to your first slide where we talked about knowing your audience, like things like age group, gender, interests, etc. So those characteristics of your target audience have to match the social platforms that you choose to utilize. Because if they are not matching, then you're just going to be spending a lot of time on a platform that your target audience isn't even using. So as an example, when I think about TikTok, it's usually younger people, say age 16 to 24, for example. So if that's not your age group, then TikTok isn't for you. Maybe Facebook might be more relevant. Facebook, I would say, is for the older generation. LinkedIn, on the other hand, is a more professional platform. So that's better, I think, for B2B businesses and more service-based businesses. Instagram could be better for if you're selling a physical product and so on. So you need to really think which are the right ones that suit your business. And then we've also got here Nextdoor. You may have heard of that. So this is good if you're a local business. So this is another sort of Facebook type platform, but with this one, you can engage more effectively, I think, with your local community. So it's good if you're running local events, for example, and you want to promote it to your community. So that's another one to look into. then continuing with the social media. So one thing to note is that the algorithms are constantly changing. It can be difficult to keep up with these changes. So try to experiment with different strategies and find out what works best for you. And one way to do that is by looking at your analytics to understand how your posts are performing. So with most or all platforms, I think, have an analytics feature. So you can look at your posts and see things like how many impressions it got, how many times it was saved, how many comments it received, and so on. Then here's a couple of tools to help you manage your social media. So rather than posting whenever you have a good idea and just doing it kind of spontaneously, you might benefit from scheduling your posts in advance. So you might say take 1 day per week, for example, where you create all of your posts and then you schedule them to go out later in the week at a specific day and time. And we do that with scheduling tools. So one is Meta Business Suite. So this is provided by Facebook. And this works with both Facebook and Instagram. And then there is also Buffer. The reason why I've recommended this is because the free plan gives you quite a lot. So it gives you capability to connect up to 3 channels. So by channels, we mean profiles. And for each channel, you're able to schedule up to 10 posts at one time. So that's 30 posts that you can schedule at any point in time, which I think is quite generous. And then, of course, there are other scheduling tools out there, and you might want to look into. And also, if you need more features than that, then there are the paid options as well. Okay, so let's move on to email marketing. So email marketing, this is a powerful tool for keeping your customers engaged. So if you're going to set up an email marketing newsletter, think about what content you're going to send out to your subscribers. So this could be a monthly newsletter, for instance. You can put offers, competitions, launch of new products or services, updates about your company. So there's wide range of content ideas there for you to think about. So what you want to do is to monitor some key metrics. So your email marketing platform should give you some data on things like open rate, which is how many people opened your email, click-through rate, which is how many times they clicked on any links in the email. Bounce rate is when the email wasn't delivered for some reason. Usually the email address was incorrect, so it wasn't delivered. And then also unsubscribe rate, which you want to keep as low as possible. These are how many unsubscribed from your mailing list. And here are some common email marketing platforms. All of these offer a free plan. MailChimp is probably the most popular one. There's also MailerLite, which is a good alternative. And personally, I find MailerLite more user-friendly than MailChimp. It's easier to navigate. And also there's HubSpot. That one can be quite complex. It does offer some other features as well as the email marketing, like chatbots and other tools. But it's quite good in terms of what it gives you for free. So if you're looking for additional tools as well as the email marketing for low cost, then maybe HubSpot could be for you. So one thing you need to be aware of when doing your email marketing is GDPR requirements. So you need to do a couple of things, which is making sure that you're only sending email marketing and communications to people who have given you their consent. So if they've subscribed via a form on your website, then they are consenting to receive those communications. Also, if they've consented verbally, say they've given you their email address and they said, yes, I would like to receive your newsletter, that's also consent, so that's fine. And then another thing you can do is when you're sending out these emails, there should usually be an unsubscribe link somewhere in the email, so they are able to unsubscribe from your mailing list at any time. And that actually is a requirement, so you need to have some way for them to opt out, whether that's via a link or at least say in the email, contact us if you want to be removed from our mailing list. Okay. Yeah, so let's move on to Google Business Profile and online directories. So one quick win you can do is to set up a Google Business Profile. This is a free tool provided by Google. And with this, you need to enter as much information as you can. So contact information, opening hours. If you have a booking link, say a Calendly, for instance, you can add the link on there. Photos, so could be photos of the product you are selling. Also, ask your clients to write reviews, so you can send them a link that takes them directly to the form where they can enter their review, and then it gets displayed on your Google Business Profile. And what you want to do is to respond to all reviews, whether they are negative or positive reviews, because it just shows that you do take on board the feedback from your customers and you do care about their feedback. So this is another good way of potentially generating traffic to your website. And then we've also got other local directories. So local directories are a list of businesses and enables users to find companies within a specific geographic location. So listing your business in a local online directory can help improve your website's SEO, because we talked about backlinks earlier. So when you create a listing on a directory, you're also creating a new backlink to your website. So it's another way of generating traffic and improving your SEO. And here are a few examples. These, I believe, are all free. So we've got Bark, Yelp, Yell.com, 118 Business Directory, and there are many others as well, which you can list on for free. Video marketing. So this could be setting up a YouTube account, for example, and there's some ideas here on the types of videos that you can create. So there's tutorials, how-to videos, and this could work for physical products as well as services. So you can show your customers how to use a product, or if you're a service-based business like I am, I could create a video on how to create websites. So it works for both physical and service-based products. Running webinars like what we are doing today on Zoom, Microsoft Teams. Unboxing videos, so good for physical products where you're showing unpackaging the product from its packaging. Free courses, new product launches, Then you've got YouTube Shorts. So they've recently changed the requirement for this. Previously, the video could only be up to 1 minute for it to be a YouTube short. Now they are extending it to 3 minutes long. Okay, moving on because I'm conscious of time. So we've got also pay-per-click advertising, or PPC. So this is a model of digital advertising where the advertiser, which is yourself, pays a fee every time one of their ads is clicked. So unlike SEO, which is a long-term process, paid advertising is a fast way to gain visitors to your website and to increase conversion. But this can be expensive, so you need to define your budget and make sure you are staying within those limits. So you can run paid ads on search engines like Google or Bing, or on social media platforms. It's important to advertise on the platforms that your audience is using. Otherwise, you'll find that you may be getting a lot of clicks and spending money on those clicks, but they're not actually converting. So it's people who are just clicking your ads, but they don't actually have any intention of buying the service or product you're offering. Then finally, monitor the performance of your campaigns so that you can make adjustments and improvements. So important thing to do is to take a look at your analytics, see how your ads are performing, then make some improvements so that the next time you've got a higher chance of your ads converting and making your budget or spending your budget more wisely. Right. Developing a digital marketing strategy. So this is about putting together everything that we have talked about today. So as mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, in case you missed it, this is being run in partnership by the London Borough of Bexley, which is running the Talking Business Support Programme. If you are a business or organization who is based in Bexley, then you may be eligible to join our program. And as part of that program, you can receive this template free of charge. So we have a template here which goes through all of the different methods of marketing that we talked about today. And it's sort of an audit. So you need to think about, are you already doing that in your business? Are you getting there, or have you not started it yet? And you can so basically you would audit what you're doing right now, and it helps you to identify areas of improvement. And at the end of the template, there is an action plan. So this is where you can list out the things you're going to do within the next 12 months or so to develop that marketing strategy. So in order to register for the Bexley program, we've put a link on the slide here. And once you've filled in the form, a member of our team will be in touch with you to discuss the next steps. So as part of this program, you can receive 1 hour of free support from us, and you can also receive this template as well. Okay. So finally, we have talked a lot about digital marketing, but I just wanted to mention a few ways you could market your business or organization through offline methods. Because to be honest, online is getting quite saturated, it's very competitive. And I think it's quite risky if you're just relying on digital marketing methods. And I do think you need a hybrid approach where you do a bit of both. So here are a few ideas to get you started. So put word of mouth first because this is a very powerful marketing method. And for me personally, it's one of the best ones. So you tell your friends, families, colleagues about your product or service. They tell their friends and so on. And that's how you spread the word and you get referrals and recommendations. There are in-person networking events. There's so many different networking groups around. Some are free, some are paid. I recommend to try a few different ones and see which ones work for you. We have one called Bexley Link Up. So Gary and myself and a couple of other business owners started our own networking group. Bexley Link Up is free to attend. There's no membership fee, no pitches, no sales presentations, and it's just informal, casual networking for any Bexley-based businesses. And we don't limit it to just Bexley. Anyone is welcome to attend. That happens on the second Wednesday every month from 6 p.m. So if you are local, then I suggest taking a look at that. Next, we have flyers, posters, and leaflets. A common thing to do is to put a QR code which links to your website or maybe an event booking page, for instance. Business cards, I prefer the physical business cards, but there are now virtual versions of these cards that you can create where someone will scan the QR code and your contact information goes straight into their phone. Newspapers and magazines. This is an interesting one. Could be relevant depending on the type of organization you run. There is a Bexley magazine that gets sent to Bexley residents once every quarter. I don't know if there is a fee for advertising your business in there, but you can contact them to get your business listed in the directory. Markets and pop-up shops. So these are good if you are selling physical products, for example, clothing, jewelry, artwork, for instance. There's also exhibitions and expos, also trade shows. But bear in mind, these can be quite expensive. So you may be paying hundreds, maybe thousands of pounds to exhibit for a few days. But the reason why it costs that much is because you are exposing your business to a very large number of people, and thousands of people potentially attend these events. There's discount and loyalty cards, and then finally we have referral programs. So this is where you offer an incentive to someone to entice them to sign up to your product. To give you an example, banks do this a lot. So Tide, for instance, previously was offering me £40 to create an account with them, and they also offered £40 if I referred my friend to them as well, and they decided to sign up to Tide too. They would get that that bonus. So that's what the referral program is. Okay, so we have reached the end of the main part of the presentation. So I'm happy to take any questions. If you have any questions, you can either say it out loud, you can raise your hand on the screen, or you can put your question into the chat and I will be very happy to answer. So I will give you a couple of moments. just checking the chat. I don't see any questions at the moment. So, okay. A question from Shirley. If you have an online business, why do you need to know location? I'm guessing by that question, Shirley, you mean why would you need to display the location on your website? RE audience. Yeah, so okay, I get your question. So you're asking why would the location of your target audience be important if you're running an online business? So if you're running an online business and you could potentially cater to anywhere in the UK or even anywhere in the world, then I guess in that case, location would be less important. So the reason I put location on that list is because there are many businesses who are local and they are targeting just a small area where they are based. But yeah, of course, by all means, if you are targeting an audience where the location is not relevant, then yeah, then that is not so important. So hopefully that answers your question. Then Michael is asking, how can I find and fill out the form for developing an online marketing strategy? So I think let me just go back a couple of slides. So I think, Michael, you are referring to the registration form for the program. So I'll put the link here again, and you will receive a copy of these slides. So the link will be there too. And yeah, so just to reiterate, this program is for Bexley businesses, and if you are eligible for the program, then you can receive the template as part of our support. Okay, so whilst we're thinking about any more questions, I'm going to move forwards. And I'll just let you know about a few more webinars that we are running in due course. So both of these are also part of the Bexley Business Support Program, but anyone is welcome to attend, and they are both free. So our next one is support for women-led businesses on the Thursday, the 6th of November from 11 o'clock. So this is specifically aimed for women, but of course, both women and men are welcome to attend that one. And then the last one we have this year is AI for beginners. AI being a very big topic at the moment, so I highly recommend you join this one. It's going to be very interesting on Thursday, the 20th of November at 11 o'clock. And you both of the registration links are there, and again, these are both free webinars. Okay, yeah, so you might want to take a screenshot of that. Well, as I say, you will receive the webinar slides with these information. Yeah. So I'm just checking again. We don't have any more questions. So what I wanted to say is just to recap on what we talked about today. We talked mostly about digital marketing methods for promoting your business and organization. And marketing your business through digital means is a very effective and cost effective way to promote your business. But as we mentioned, because many of these are free or low cost, so many people now are trying to promote their businesses through online means. So I do want to emphasize the fact again that it will require a hybrid approach. So I recommend doing some of the digital methods and also some of the offline methods that we talked about as well. So I find that the best approach is when you do a combination of the two. Okay, and I'm just going to finally put the contact information for CNT on the screen here. So if you do have any questions that you think about after the webinar, then please do get in touch with us and we will be happy to help you. Okay, just checking one more time. Yeah, so I think that concludes the presentation today. Thank you very much for attending. We hope to see you on one of the future webinars. So we will see you then. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.